Tracking major changes at the Department of Education, layoffs and budget cuts are raising concerns about the future of federal education programs.
KHOU 11's Jalissa Garza is live for us in the newsroom following this story. Jalissa, tell us more about the impacts.
Well, Steph and Ron, good morning. Developers and IT support staff who worked on the FAFSA form were impacted by the Education Department's layoffs Tuesday. Not long after, students and families saw an hours-long outage on studentaid.gov, the federal website for student loans and financial aid. Now, you can see right next to me that the website is up and everything appears to be normal. But right at the top, there is a message that says some applications are still temporarily unavailable after a federal court blocked part of the SAVE plan and other repayment programs. But the bigger concern this morning is how federal cuts could impact education as a whole. Now, the U.S. Department of Education cutting nearly 50% of its workforce. The layoffs, combined with those who already took voluntary so-called buyouts, will cut the department's headcount to nearly 2,200 employees from about 4,000. Now, a list of laid off staff obtained and verified by the Associated Press shows more than 300 people were cut from federal student aid and 24 of them from federal student aid's technology division. The layoffs are part of a dramatic downsizing directed by President Trump as he moves to reduce the footprint of the federal government. But questions have been raised about the Department of Education's ability to continue its usual operations.
I do believe we exist for a reason. I think there's always room for improvement, but I'm afraid that the dollars that schools and districts have been relying on are going to just not be there.
The former U.S. Department of Education employee that you just heard from went on to say it's one thing to phase out resources, but another to cut them off without a plan, and that's what makes her nervous. Now, there are several concerns raised about some of the fundamental work by the Department of Education, like the enforcement of civil rights for students with disabilities and the management of nearly $2 trillion in federal student loans. Education Secretary Linda McMahon said when she got to the department, she wanted to reduce bloat to be able to send more money to local education authorities, something President Trump also mentioned. We'll hear from both of them in the next hour. Reporting in the newsroom, Jalissa Garza, KHOU 11 News.